Hey, good morning everyone. Pastor Chris here. Welcome to the Poolside Chat. December 23rd, 2 days till Christmas. It is an exciting time of year. As I mentioned 4 weeks ago, I've been talking about Advent. And tomorrow is kind of a unique day. Being December 24th, it is also the fourth Sunday of Advent. So typically, at least in modern renditions, you light the fourth candle, which is called the angel's candle, and it symbolizes love. But some traditions, and it's purple. The fourth candle is purple, royalty, love. Some traditions, also a fifth candle is center, it's a white candle, to symbolize Christ. It's called the Christ candle. And that represents God's coming into the world. He's here. It also, in some traditions, represents the beginning of Christmastide, 12 days of Christmas. So it's interesting, they both fall on the same day. But the fourth Sunday of Advent, the angel's candle, it's a candle of love. And we get a day, but as we reflect and await the coming of Christ, remember God came into the world, God himself in the form of a human, Jesus. It's about love. And it's always important to remember that at Christmas time, because there's two things that came to mind when I thought of this. I think of 1 Corinthians 12. It's called the love chapter in the Bible. And it says that you can have all these gifts and all these outward manifestations of the Holy Spirit, of God. But without love, it doesn't mean a thing. We see it in the Old Testament. Should have looked it up. Hosea, I think it is. Where it says, you know, I don't want your burnt offerings and I don't want your sacrifices. I want your love. And that's what God brought into this world. That's what we remember this week. Love. And I looked and I studied and everything came back to John 3:16. And I think every person worldwide can recite that. But I think the truth of that verse sometimes can become lost through familiarity. But as we think of this fourth Sunday, this fourth week, Sunday, day of Advent, is what God asked his son to give up and what his son willingly gave up. My education background is in cross-cultural ministry. It's learning, appreciating, understanding, relating to people from different groups, tribes, ethnicities, and cultures. So we see the beauty in each other. And it's not to make us all the same, but it's to celebrate our differences. And we can learn from each other. I'm reminded of the story once I heard in a seminary. And there was a pastor who went to Ethiopia for a missionary journey. He goes to church Christmas Eve. And he sits in the church, and it's, you know, it's dark. It's in the church. And in comes a procession with donkeys and peasants. And they go to a house, and Mary and Joseph come in, and Mary goes with the women. Joseph separates off with the men. Mary goes into the house because she is in labor to deliver. The women go in to attend her. The men stay outside and talk. And then all of a sudden they hear wailing from inside the house. And Joseph looks, but he doesn't dare go in. And they come out, and they bring the little baby, Jesus, out to meet the Father. And there's a big celebration as they go on their way. And this pastor said, but that's not how Christmas is. But then he thought, maybe that's much closer to how Christmas, that first Christmas, was than what we do here in America. So that's my background. Why I say this, Jesus, his home's in heaven. He had everything perfect. This was created for him. He had angels and singers and saints and company and God and a throne. It's heaven. And he left that and moved into our neighborhood. That's love. And not as a missionary journey to visit, but he got his whole life from a newborn to death at 33. He moved into our neighborhood for us. Love. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. And then the rest of that story, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life, which begins now and continues on after death with God in his home in heaven. So as we celebrate the angel candle, when the angels announced the birth of Christ, when the angels came to Mary, as we remember the love that brought him down here to give to us willingly, both by Father and Son, I pray that you will sense anew that love for us, and that you'll be able to share that love with others. And the Christ candle, I'm going to be interested to see what happens in church. Maybe they let them both. Maybe they do one today, one tomorrow. I mean, one tomorrow, one on Christmas Day on Monday. I don't know. It's an interesting combination of Sundays. So this is the last Sunday of Advent. Remember, I said at first they would do questions, but I mentioned Christmas tide. We're going to talk about some of the tides, the tidal seasons, and it's a great time of anticipation, a great time of love, and a great time of sharing. I pray you know that, and if you don't, reach out to me, to somebody who can show you how you can have that love, that joy, that peace, that faith, that hope that came that Christmas Day so long ago. Guys, thanks for visiting for a minute. I love doing these. I love all you guys, and I pray a very Merry Christmas for all of you. Remember, keep those questions coming. I got a stack of them. Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble at FL Compass Church. And have a Merry Christmas. We'll see you Wednesday.